Nicknamed City of Trees with one of the largest tree canopies in the nation. Sacramento, the capital city of California, is a vibrant blend of rich history, cultural diversity, and evolving urban life. Founded in 1848, it played a central role during the California Gold Rush as a key distribution and transportation hub. This legacy is preserved in the Old Sacramento Historic District, where cobblestone streets, horse-drawn carriages, and 19th-century buildings offer visitors a glimpse into the past. Sacramento is equally celebrated for its thriving farm-to-fork culinary scene, scenic riverfronts, and a growing art and music culture. However, Sacramento's growth and charm are not without challenges. While the city thrives in many areas, it also contends with persistent issues related to crime and gang activity. Over the span of 5 years from 2019 to 2023, Sacramento saw an average of 36,612 violent crimes, at a rate of 156 incidents per 100,000 residents, 47% above the U.S. national average. In the same span, Sacramento also recorded an average of 63,733 property crimes with a rate of 271 incidents per 100,000 residents, 66% above the national average.
Crip and the blood, that could be brothers or cousins. It'd be like that out here. LA, they a little more serious about that color. Out here, we like, we bang the hoods and
Okay.
the sets.
Okay.
Gardenland. Gardenland is a neighborhood in the northern region of Sacramento, around the Natomas Basin. It borders Northgate Boulevard to the west, Indiana Avenue to the north, Steelhead Creek to the east, and the Arden Garden Connector to the south. Gardenland crime rates are 278% higher than the national average. Violent crimes in Gardenland are 621% higher than the national average. You have a 1 in 12 chance of becoming a victim of crime. The neighborhood was established in the 1920s by immigrant farm workers and railroad laborers, many of whom were of Mexican and Portuguese descent. The origins of its name are debated. Some say it was inspired by the abundance of trees, while others believe it referred to the spacious land plots where virtually anything could grow. By 1940, it remained an unincorporated area, marked by open farmland, modest homes, and a resilient immigrant population shaping the neighborhood's identity. Gardenland is the richest agricultural area within city limits. Following forced relocations of low-income residents in the 1970s and 80s, the neighborhood suffered from redlining, disinvestment, and economic decline. The 2008 housing crash hit hard, foreclosures spiked and property values dropped significantly. Despite its strong community roots and agricultural past, Gardenland has struggled with gang activity over the past several decades, particularly from the 1980s onward. South Hagenwood. South Hagenwood is bordered by Arcade Creek to the north, Eleanor Avenue to the south, the Sacramento Northern Bike Trail to the west, and Del Paso Boulevard to the east. South Hagenwood crime rates are 298% higher than the national average. Violent crimes in South Hagenwood are 549% higher than the national average. You have a 1 in 12 chance of becoming a victim of crime.
Yeah, we're standing on the 2700 block of Branch Street. Shots rang out in this area around 4 this morning, leaving 1 man dead. Neighbors we spoke to say this is usually a quiet area, so this incident has certainly put them on high alert.
There was CSI in front of my house. There was CSI down the street from my house. There was police action all over the place. And then I walked down, there's 2 cars involved in an accident.
That's how one resident in the South Hagenwood neighborhood, who did not want to be identified or have her face shown, describes the chaos that unfolded shortly after shots were fired on Branch Street, an area she says is usually quiet.
My kids are in my bedroom sleeping. So yeah, it's a little too close for comfort. way too close for comfort.
Sacramento police responded to the area just after 4 a.m. and found a man with at least one gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
Oh, I mean, that's always bad news. You never want to hear that. But I mean, things happen, unfortunately.
It seems like since the pandemic happened, it's like nobody's got no senses anymore.
Maria Seha has lived in this neighborhood for over 20 years. She's had no major issues, but she now worries about her own safety following yet another act of gun violence in Sacramento. This one hitting too close to home.
Very scary, very shocking. I'm afraid for my kids. I'm afraid for my parents, and for my community. Killing somebody ain't gonna solve nothing. It's just gonna make things worse. They need to learn how to talk, concentrate, do some type of meditation, counseling, a psychiatrist, medication. They need to get on board.
North Sacramento was once its own city, with a population of roughly 16,000 people, its own city council, police department, and fire stations. Before the annexation, Del Paso Boulevard served as a thriving downtown in its own right, home to a bustling strip of local businesses where shop owners made a steady income and residents could meet nearly all of their daily needs. After Sacramento annexed North Sacramento, including Hagenwood, in 1964, residents complained the area was overlooked, starting the rise of empty storefronts, diminished maintenance, and rising blight. Like other nearby neighborhoods, South Hagenwood experienced declining property values, increased rentals, and growing poverty trends by the 1990s and 2000s. Del Paso Heights. Del Paso Heights is a neighborhood on the north side of Sacramento. The borders of Del Paso Heights consist of the Beltline Freeway, Interstate 80 to the north, Norwood Avenue on the west, Arcade Creek to the south, and Maryville Boulevard on the east. Del Paso Heights has crime rates 64% higher than the national average, with violent crime soaring 279% above the national average. Residents face a 1 in 27 chance of becoming a victim of crime.
Good morning, Bria. We were the first crew to arrive at the scene, and I spoke with an officer with Sacramento Police, and they told me they are investigating yet another deadly shooting impacting the Del Paso Heights community. They just broke down the crime scene moments ago, so I want to show you a peek of the neighborhood. As you can see, it's very residential. It's fairly quiet, but overnight, gunfire rang out yet again in this community. Now, this has been happening for several weeks now. Within the past 3 weeks, there have been 4 instances of gun violence impacting Del Paso Heights. We told you 3 weeks ago when a Grant Union High School senior was shot and killed on his graduation day. Then just 1 week after that, 7 people were wounded in a shootout on Del Paso Heights Boulevard. And 1 week after that, this week, 2 days prior to this shooting, there were 2 people that were shot and killed in Del Paso Heights. That brings us to today, when 2 more people were killed. We're told that police are still searching for a suspect. That today there is an active investigation underway. Officers were out here through the night, and the investigation continues. They were collecting evidence out here. Now they're talking to neighbors.
Del Paso Heights traces its roots to the 44,000-acre Rancho Del Paso Mexican land grant, originally granted to Eliab Grimes in 1844. In 1862, the land was acquired by James Ben Ali Hagen, who transformed the property into a renowned thoroughbred horse breeding farm. It was here that California's first Kentucky Derby winner was bred in 1886, placing the area briefly on the national map. The decline of Del Paso Heights began in the mid-20th century as a combination of economic, infrastructural, and social shifts took hold. The construction of Interstate 80 physically divided the neighborhood from the rest of Sacramento, isolating it from commercial corridors and disrupting local business activity along Del Paso Boulevard. The closure of nearby McClellan Air Force Base further contributed to job losses and economic stagnation. As industry left and investment dwindled, redlining and housing discrimination pushed many low-income families and people of color into the area, while also preventing homeownership and neighborhood improvement. By the 1980s, the community was hit hard by the crack cocaine epidemic, which fueled addiction, crime, and the rise of violent street gangs in the area. Northside notable gangs and hoods. Barrio Northside 14. Often abbreviated as VNS 14, Barrio Northside 14 is one of the oldest Norteño-affiliated gangs in North Sacramento. While their influence and membership are not confined strictly to the uptown or old North Sacramento, this region, particularly around 2700 Branch Street, has long served as their primary stronghold. Their presence in the community spans several decades, making them a deeply rooted and established set within the local Norteño structure. Strawberry Manor, aka the Manors, and is home to the Strawberry Manor Gangster Bloods, SMGB, or Manor Mob, a smaller but highly reputable blood set known for associating with the color green. Northgate, a predominantly Hispanic area that's home to Barrio Northgate, VNG, whose main allies are VGL, another northern barrio who claims the area east of Northgate Boulevard. Downtown/Midtown. Downtown Sacramento is the central business district of the city. Downtown is generally defined as the area south of the American River, east of the Sacramento River, north of Broadway, and west of 16th Street. Midtown Sacramento is a historical district and neighborhood just east of downtown. Officially, Midtown's borders are R Street to the south, J Street to the north, 16th Street on the west, and 30th Street on the east. Downtown crime rates are 447% higher than the national average. Violent crimes in downtown sit at a rate of around 3,128 per 100,000, a staggering 760% higher than the national average. You have a 1 in 9 chance of becoming a victim of crime. Downtown Sacramento faces high property crime rates as well, driven largely by theft and vehicle theft at a rate of 9,342 per 100,000.
News of an arrest in the worst mass shooting in Sacramento history. 6 people killed, 12 injured. There is still an urgent manhunt underway tonight. ABC's Zareen Shah in Sacramento.
Tonight, at least one suspect is in custody after a mass shooting that left 6 dead and another 12 wounded in downtown Sacramento. Police arresting 26-year-old Dondre Martin on charges of assault and illegal firearm possession.
We are certainly looking into his role into the shooting and his involvement as well. We are searching for multiple suspects, and that is our priority.
The police chief telling me they've recovered over 100 expended shell casings and at least 1 stolen handgun from the scene. A second handgun retrieved at a residence overnight. Just after 2 Sunday morning, police say multiple shooters opened fire after a large fight near a row of nightclubs. Officers on duty in the area hearing the gunshots, quickly providing medical aid, calling for backup.
3 walking gunshot wound victims.
I copy that. We need more units over there.
Multiple people rushed to area hospitals with injuries. Today, authorities confirming the identities of the 6 killed.
Midtown's overall crime rate is 13,150 incidents per 100,000 residents, being 477% higher than the national average. Violent crime in the area are 676% above the national average. In Midtown, you have a 1 in 8 chance of experiencing a crime. Midtown also experienced high property crime rates at 8,662 per 100K residents, with a 1 in 10 chance of becoming a victim of property crime.
Heard the shots there. Mayhem in Midtown. Gunshots ring out overnight. Police say 2 men were shot outside a bar. One of them was killed. Happened around 1 a.m. at Costanza Sports Bar at 21st and L Streets. With that, we go to CBS 13's Renee Santos live with the latest on the investigation. Renee.
Tony, that investigation left this part of L Street in between 21st and 22nd blocked off for several hours. The road opening back up just a little while ago. Now, there is surveillance video that we were able to attain that you can hear several gunshots followed by people screaming. Police radio also details what officers encountered when they rushed here to the scene. In exclusive video obtained by CBS 13, you can hear 3 gunshots followed by another 3. The chaos erupting just outside Costanza's sports bar around 1 in the morning. Police say an argument led to 2 people being shot, one dying on the way to the hospital, the second now recovering. Police radio detailing the scene officers showed up to.
Medic 4 taking 1 to UC Davis. This is the one that was inside the outdoor patio area. We're still working on other subjects in the street.
Drone 13 giving you a bird's eye view of the investigation.
Oak Park. Oak Park is informally bounded by U.S. Route 50 to the north, Stockton Boulevard to the east, the South Sacramento 99 freeway to the west, and Fruit Ridge Road to the south. Oak Park is divided into 3 subneighborhoods. North Oak Park, located closer to Broadway, and UC Davis Medical Center, which has experienced increased gentrification. Central Oak Park, often seen as the heart of Oak Park, also going through gentrification, and South Oak Park. According to Sacramento police officials, nearly 50% of violent crime happens within 7 square miles of the 100 square mile city, which included Oak Park along with Del Paso Heights and Mack Road/Valley High area. Violent crime rates in Oak Park are significantly above the national average, with Central Oak Park experiencing rates 162% higher and South Oak Park an alarming 354% higher than the national average.
People are losing their lives and these tragedies are horrible.
After 3 people, 1 a teenager, were shot and killed in Sacramento at 2 different scenes overnight, today another homicide in Oak Park.
And people have a right to be outraged that the violence keeps continuing.
Sacramento police say they got multiple calls about a shooting here on 6th Avenue just after 9 a.m. They confirm the man who was shot was taken to UC Davis Hospital and died there.
It's a sad statement. It's normal. It's normal shooting.
L.C. Curtis was not surprised when he rode his bike in his neighborhood and came upon this massive police scene.
Gotta watch your back, you know? It's just that way out here. I'm 69 years old. Ain't no way I hang out. No way. I want to see my daughter, my grandkids make it in this world.
Minutes before news of this latest shooting death, KCRA3 spoke with Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg about this surge in gun violence.
I know that there's more work that we have to do at the local level, but we also need more work at the federal level. How do these weapons of destruction get in the hands of people who shouldn't have them?
In the early 1900s, Oak Park was a culturally vibrant and economically thriving neighborhood, known for its strong sense of community and proximity to the California State Fairgrounds. Originally home to many white Americans of European descent, the area prospered due to a robust local business scene. However, the Great Depression, coupled with racially discriminatory practices like redlining, began to erode the neighborhood's stability. Redlining policies segregated the community, contributing to white flight and declining property values. The 1960s freeway expansion further disrupted Oak Park, physically dividing the neighborhood and accelerating its decline. By the 1980s and 1990s, the area faced significant challenges, including rising crime, drug activity, and gang violence, all of which contributed to deteriorating living conditions and a weakening sense of community. Notable residents of Oak Park include platinum-selling rapper Timothy Mozzie Patterson, born June 24, 1987, who was raised on 4th Avenue in the Oak Park neighborhood, an area long associated with gang activity. With parents battling addiction and incarceration, he was brought up by his grandmother, a former Black Panther. Mozzie joined the Oak Park Bloods in his teens, dropped out of high school, and faced multiple arrests before committing fully to music. Mozzie first began rapping around the age of 16, inspired and guided by his uncle Gennaro G.P. the Beast Patterson, who was also a local rapper. Known for his unique slang, raw, unfiltered lyrics about street life and systemic struggle, Mozzie began releasing mixtapes under the name Lil Tim in 2010. He released his first solo mixtape in 2011, Money Means Mozzie. This followed by other critically acclaimed projects like Money Making Mozzie in 2011 and The Tonight Show with Mozzie in 2013, and gained widespread attention with his mixtape Bladada in 2015.
It's fleshy and salsaristic, super duper big though, Sean. I mean, that's what it does. Man, as soon as it hit the stores, please copy ASAP. Post on the grind, you was forced to be strong. Too many problems posted on my mind for a 4-minute song. The pain I hold deep inside, I use drugs to erase. Every time I look in the mirror, it's a mug on my face. And as I glance at my life, this is what it comes to. I only made it thus far through all the shit I stumped through. Feel throughout my childhood, my pops neglected my life. And now the nigga in the pen and he expect me to write. At an early age, I realized the struggle was cold. Only big bro I had was this burner I hold. Niggas don't realize I'm literally living in stress. Shit that's heavy on my mind got my chin in my chest. Moms and pops evaporated. I was left with pain, but now I'm a certified man. Ain't shit left to raise. My niggas always have my back, especially when I be beefing. My grandmother pitched me all the love I ever needed.
Notable gangs and hoods. Fruitridge, an area within Greater Lemon Hill popularized by late rapper True Story Briss, located immediately south of Oak Park and is considered the start of the south side of Sacramento/South area. Fruitridge Vista Norteños. FVN, a well-known barrio whose main block is 42nd Street along with Gotti Grove Townhomes. The Diamonds. This large area in southeastern Sacramento is commonly referred to by the name of its dominant gang, Barrio Diamond Sacra 14, or VDS for short. Though it's composed of multiple neighborhoods, the area's identity has become closely tied to the presence of this Norteño-affiliated set. VDS originated as the Diamond Boys, a name reportedly inspired by a now-demolished baseball park that once served as their main hangout. This park was located somewhere between Fruitridge Road and 21st Avenue along the 65th Expressway, and its significance remains a key part of the gang's history and identity. Upper Land Park. Upper Land Park is a neighborhood in the more general Land Park area of Sacramento. Its boundaries are officially Broadway to the north, Swanston Drive to the south, Riverside Boulevard to the east, and I-5 to the west. Upper Land Park has crime rates 225% higher than the national average, with violent crime soaring to 471% above the national average. Residents face a 1 in 14 chance of becoming a victim of crime. The area is home to the Alder Grove and Marina Vista public housing complexes. Constructed in the 1940s and 1950s, Alder Grove, originally named New Helvetia and Marina Vista, formerly CV Circle, were built primarily to house military families stationed at McClellan and Mather Field Air Force bases. Located between 6th and 9th Streets along Broadway, New Helvetia, now Alder Grove, consisted of 360 units. However, only 16 of those units were initially allotted to black families, reflecting the era's discriminatory housing practices and systemic segregation. The complex's units range in size from 1 to 5 bedrooms and include both single-story and multi-story layouts, making both housing complexes among the city's largest and most historically significant public housing developments in the city.
3 people shot in 2 separate shootings on the same Sacramento street within 4 days. The latest today, leaving 2 women injured. Back on Friday, a person was killed.
All right, we want to get straight to CBS 13's Madison Keevy for this one. Joining us at the Sacramento Police Department now, where 2 investigations are in their early stages. Still, Madison, are these shootings linked?
That is one of the first questions I asked investigators that are hard at work here at the Sacramento Police Department around the clock, trying to figure out what happened. They say that question is at the center, or at least one of the questions that detectives and investigators are asking as they move through this process. Still, neighbors tell me that they're on edge as these two shootings were not the first they've experienced, even in the last couple weeks.
It raises major concern and frustration because we're not seeing any changes. We're not seeing anything different. More safety around here for our kids to come out and play without being in fear of losing their lives.
Another crime scene on the 2600 block of Kit Carson Street in Sacramento's Alder Grove apartments. 2 women shot and injured. One of them, we're told, may have lifelong impacts from the injuries. It happened in broad daylight, around 2 on Monday afternoon. Whoever pulled the trigger, able to get away. That's the problem, according to one resident, who didn't want to be named due to concerns for her own safety, fed up with crime. She's lived here for more than a decade, and in that time, she says, the crime has only gotten worse. Now this, a deadly shooting Friday night, and a double shooting with injuries Monday.
Speed bumps, more security. You know, I mean, that's a start.
Changes she wants to see protect what she says is a neighborhood filled with children. There's even a daycare feet from Monday's shooting. She hopes it's a wake-up call for city leaders and the greater Sacramento community.
Shootings are frequent around here, yeah. And a lot of the innocent get hit in the middle of it, you know, the windows. One day it's going to be one of these innocent kids.
South Sac Iraq notable gangs and hoods. Valley High, also known as the High, is a large area with not-so-clear borders. Being the birthplace of the Iraq movement and the southernmost hood in the city limits. Meadowview 6900/69 side. Locally known as the Hunnets. Home to the Meadowview 6900 Bloods. Notable blocks in the area include 17th, Tam O'Shanter, Skelton, and Kirk. Garden Block. The original Crip gang in South Sacramento, quite possibly the oldest out of all in the city, and at one point was one of the most dominant gangs of Sacramento in terms of numbers and territory. Notable members of Garden Block include rapper X-Rated, horrorcore rapper and producer Brother Lynchhong, and rapper Sibo. G Parkway. By the early 2000s, the G Parkway housing complex in South Sacramento had become divided between 2 dominant gangs, G Parkway Mob, which controlled the northern section known as Murder Alley, and the Garden Block Crips in the southern portion. In 2004, a gang injunction was issued against G Parkway, and the entire complex was bulldozed and redeveloped into what is now Phoenix Park. This displacement scattered many families across South Sacramento, also splintering gangs and cliques into new neighborhoods, fueling the area's nicknamed South Sac Iraq. The late rapper Mac Dre had close ties to G Parkway after relocating to Sacramento following his prison release, and the area was prominently featured in the original Trio TV DVD series, a cult classic that helped define and take an in-depth look into Northern California's underground hip-hop scene. Notable residents of G Parkway include CML Lavish D, born Donald Oliver on September 2nd, 1984, he became affiliated with the G-Mob, specifically the Star subset. Lavish D began rapping around age 10 and emerged as a street figure by the age of 14, stepping away from sports and becoming more deeply involved in gang life. While incarcerated in 2008, Lavish D channeled his time behind bars into strategic thinking, laying the foundation for Banked Up Entertainment, his independent record label. This move marked his institutionalized growth into a label boss and mixtape culture pioneer. He began signing local talent and flooding the streets with gritty independent releases such as Cash Me Out in 2012, Baller Blocking, based on a true story in 2013, and Real Niggas Don't Die series 1-4. This helped cement his influence in Sacramento's rap scene and beyond, turning personal struggle into entrepreneurial momentum.
My daddy told me a long time ago, man, quit trying to help people. You get what I'm saying? And I never understood why, you feel me? Because I feel like if they your friends, you supposed to help them. If they your dog, you supposed to help them. But sometimes you can't help people. People be stuck in their ways, you get what I'm saying? People be stuck in their ways and used to doing things that the way that they used to doing them. So therefore, when you come into their life and you try to help them and you try to big them up and you try to give them direction and guidance and help, you sound like a hater. You get what I'm saying? You sound like a hater to those who really don't want help. You can't tell them nothing, you can't teach them nothing, you can't show them nothing, you can't guide them. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta let these people crash into a brick wall. Much as you don't want to see them crash into a brick wall, sometimes you gotta let them crash into a brick wall. It's like that saying when you was a kid and your mom told you, hey, don't touch that stove, boy, it's hot. You didn't learn until you touched that stove and it burnt you, man. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta let these boys, hey, learn from experience. Let them touch that stove and get burnt. You get what I'm saying? Simple as that. Sometimes you gotta let these boys get burnt, man.